Hello and welcome, Reds. Welcome to Anfield Road TV. If you are new around here, want to keep up to date on all things Liverpool with all your fellow Reds from around the globe. It's me, Doug, and Kev as well from the Kitmen, and obviously Doug from the Dugout Football Channel. Gentlemen, how are we, mate? How are we, boys? Anyway, hope you're all both well. You're on mute there, lad. You done a McKindo?
Yeah, I did a McKindo. How are you, lad? I was fixing my camera, sorry. Moving my big head further into frame. But how are you keeping, Jack? You all right? Doug, how are you? How are you keeping, mate? You all right?
Doug's on mute. Oh, Doug's disappeared. But Kev, in terms of Liverpool, with Jordan Henderson, this news did very much break this morning in relation to reports, as you can see from the Telegraph, from a very well-respected journalist, Chris Bascom. Speaking about Liverpool, Jordan Henderson is seriously considering leaving Liverpool for Saudi Arabia, and the next couple of days being a very pivotal moment in the Liverpool captain's tenure in terms of whether he wants to stay or go. We were speaking about this yesterday, mate, weren't we? Doug's back in now. Hello, all good, mate?
All good, yeah.
Yeah, the hamsters are at it again anyway. But Doug, thank you very much for jumping on, mate. I'll just get your quick instant thoughts, really, mate. What's your thoughts of this, mate? It's Henderson as Liverpool's fan base, especially on social media. He's not got the biggest of fans in terms of social media.
No.
But everyone around the world, we love him. He's, as I said with Kev this week, he's my captain. He's
actual fans.
Yeah, he's the captain that has brought huge success. It's not just been Jurgen Klopp, it's been Henderson with his captaincy ability and, of course, his qualities as well in that league season, getting player of the season. Ridiculous player, mate. And I'll be disappointed to see him go if he is to go, mate. But I think his time is very much, this would come to the realize. I think he might potentially come to realization that it's now's the right time for himself to move on.
I think if we were to lose Hendo and Milner in this window, it'd be very, very disappointing. But I think you've got to look at it as to Hendo. He has been a fantastic servant to Liverpool Football Club. There's no denying that. My only concern with this, I think he came out. I can't remember what year it was, but he actually publicly criticised the human rights over there. Now, I'm not one for obviously hypocrisy or anything like that, but
we keep politics out of football. Keep it.
Yeah, it just doesn't strike me as a move he would want to make. Now, obviously, big paychecks over there. Obviously in Saudi Arabia, we all know that. I mean, obviously, you look at the players that have already gone over there, and as I think there's one club that's won Mitrovic, I think this morning I read as well. So players are moving over there. They are moving over there for big paychecks. But Jordan Henderson, it just doesn't strike me as a move he would want to make at this rate. And we all know that there are certain people who don't even like Jordan Henderson, which is mad to say. But
if he would have won more, there would have been still criticism for him.
100%. But what that man has won as Liverpool Football Club captain is absolutely amazing. Premier League, Champions League. I mean, you name any trophy that he's won. The Hendo Shuffle as well. But I don't think he will move. I just can't see it.
Yeah, and it's a great point that Doug's raised there, Kev. Or let's not forget Steven Gerrard, and potentially looking like he could go to his club. Looks like he's definitely had negotiations with Gerrard. Let's not forget Gerrard went over a couple of weeks ago. I think he changed his mind, but obviously had a couple of talks later again, a couple of weeks later, and obviously Stevie went over and got appointed the new manager of one of the Etihad anyway. So things in life, and a lot of things can happen within a matter of weeks anyway. But if I'm Henderson, mate, and Doug and everyone, I'm just wanting to get away from the bloody English media. The amount of dog's abuse this lad has absolutely suffered and it's absolutely unjustified, in all honesty. Like, for what, as Doug's alluded to there, Kev, what this fella has done for Liverpool. Let's not forget, he come in 20-odd million from Sunderland, a young lad. He had to prove everyone wrong. He was nearly getting bloody sold by Brendan Rodgers to Fulham, and it was in a swap deal with Dempsey.
I remember that.
What Dempsey?
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine if that actually happened? And probably if what would have happened in the 10 years to follow that anyway, mate. But
yeah, like I always remember going back when Henderson first came, and it was like, oh yeah, I remember seeing him a bit on the wing for Sunderland, kind of a handy enough player. I think Ferguson was famous of telling him that for some reason he ran funny, was Ferguson's words. He was just a weird runner or something like that, or he just ran like extremely funny. And I think there was actually a run put into FIFA but renamed something else. That was what Ferguson mentioned in his book. So look, Henderson has lifted absolutely everything bar the Europa League for Liverpool. We're in it this season. Well, I don't know why he wouldn't stay to leave. Anybody who wants him to leave is not, as no offense to you've read it, who said he might celebrate. I would not celebrate a Liverpool captain that's lifted everything for the club leaving the club. I would be gutted. I'd be upset.
That's not what supporters do, mate. Like,
that's not what supporters do. That's what kids that don't have affiliation do. And that's the way I look at it. So don't ever celebrate your captain leaving the club ever. For me, he's the epitome of what Klopp stood for over the last few years. Everything that Klopp's mindset brought, what he wanted to bring in, he wouldn't have been able to do it without Hendo's backing, without the likes of Millie's backing, without these guys getting on board and changing the mindset of some of the lads that were in the squad. You could see straight away Klopp came in, he was ruthless. He got rid of Sacco, Lovren had to go, Lallana left even though Klopp was his neighbour and had great time for him. All of these things had to happen for a reason. If it was my opinion, and you see, here's where I can shoot my own self in the foot. Thiago on his day is almost gifted midfielder by a country mile in what he does, but only if he's available, and he's never available for more than 5 or 6 games. If it was me, and listen to it this way, we've always said over the years, and I hear the same arguments from people when it comes to Daniel Sturridge and all that. Oh no, I'd keep him. I'd keep him because what he can do for us. But I said he's never available. Yeah. And then but he's probably our best striker when he is available, but he's never available. And we know how that turns out. We don't win anything with it.
We spent the last 5 years saying that about Naby, mate. I know. Yeah. It's like, what?
Can't make those mistakes anymore, Jack. And I love Thiago and I like that, but Henderson is my captain, and I would. If you don't want your captain, you can, as Doug's nailed it on the head, is what I was going to say. You can't lose Millie and Hendo in the same window. It's just where's the balance there? Who's taking over? Robbo maybe in there as some sort of senior player. Is Trent seen? Yeah, is Trent seen as a senior player? But I would probably get the most out of Thiago's side, because I think we're heavy on that left hand side, and I think we're light on the right hand side. I think if Henderson goes, whoever we got in there, Sabasli, because we've understood that Elliott is a workhorse when he comes in and does it, but he just doesn't do it well. So he needs to be moved up as an understudy to Salah. If Henderson moves on, we've got Sabasli on that side, and that's it. Maybe Trent, and who's going to play that position? Whereas if you move Thiago on, who predominantly plays as a pivot on the left, then you've got Curtis Jones to come in, Bajcetic to come in, you've got Gakpo to come in, you've got McAllister to come in. We're heavy on that side. We're not on the other side. And most of these players don't play on that right-hand side. Gakpo's not right-hand sided. He likes coming in from the left. McAllister likes to drift more so off to the left. Sabasli is the guy that plays on the right and drifts left and right. Curtis Jones always plays on the left, prefers on the left. And Bajcetic has already been like, he's always drifted to the left. He's always been in that position, learning from Thiago to take over from him. And, rightly so. No, I mean, if any of these guys are going to get opportunities in the cup, then I do believe that Thiago probably needs to be moved on for the utmost money, because we've got 1 season left in him, and I don't see what difference he can make. Can anybody see really in any game, besides where he looked really good in midfield, but didn't really assist much? He's flair. He's a flair player. Well, Hendo can't cut it, but we're still lighting that side. But Thiago is the same. You could say the same, even though one is more gifted on the ball than the other, and one is a workhorse. It's very. You know, it's very hard to put it into words that it comes down to importance, and I believe that Hendo is more important to the team than Thiago, and I do understand that Thiago has got a good language barrier, or is good at breaking down language barriers within the squad, but so is every other player in there that can speak those languages. And for me, I like Thiago, but I think we could make money off him now or let him go on a free, or we could keep our captain and just keep the discipline within the squad under Klopp, because Klopp can't watch him 24/7. So I would. I would rather Hendo stayed. If I had a choice between Hendo and Thiago going, because we'll have to. Oh, and only because we brought in McAllister and Szoboszlai, it would be Thiago for me, because we can make the most money out of him. We're already heavy on that left hand side, and he's the next person to go on a contract on that side.
We'll get to chat's comments as well. Spot on, Kev. There's so many. Everyone's bloody smashing it at the minute. Massive thank you to Jen as well, obviously, for the super sticker. I do appreciate it, Jen. Hope you had a fantastic day. There's loads of stickers. You can get everything on YouTube now. But I do appreciate it, Jen. Absolute legend. Let's get to everyone's comments as well. Let us know. We're more bothered. Forget about us three on the panel. We're more bothered about what you all think in the comment section below as well. And just big up there. Well, I'd say bring up you, Raj. Respect your opinion, mate, but I don't think that's what we should be doing. Of course, we can deliberate as fans. We can balance it up and say in good and bad aspects of the transfer, but I'll never, I know all three of us won't celebrate Henderson. Well, no, we'll appreciate him and love and respect him, because that's Liverpool Football Club. We get behind every single player. And as we said about this week, we will, of course, we'll pat the players on the back that really didn't reach their peak, as we did with Ox and Naby as well. Wish them all the best. But let's not forget what Henderson's done for this football club and will continue to do for the football club, because give it another 20, 30 years when he retires, he'll be absolutely all over Liverpool Football Club. We know he's a Sunderland lad, but he is very much etched a massive part.
Did you just say he's going to retire in 20 years, Jack?
No,
that's really well after he retires.
Well after he retires.
It goes back to the old phrase where James Milner's coming off the bench for manager Trent Alexander-Arnold, you know, in 2057 or something, you know.
But if you're doing those legendary appearances in hospitality and everything, you know, and he's especially for people our mine Doug's generation as well. Sorry, Kev. But he is just for any Liverpool fan, really, 30 odd years or 31, 32 years. It took us so long to win the Premier League. Gerrard couldn't win the Premier League, for as much as he tried. And everyone might go, "Oh yeah, but Gerrard, they never played in the same team." But I think Henderson's experience he's
been our best captain, Jack.
Yeah, he's massively as well. But big up there, Jen. Just everyone saying hello. Big up there, psychedelic. Big up everyone. At first, I thought it was a good idea to let Hengo go. Now I'm thinking twice. The experience could be valuable in Europa and the Prem. Understandable if he leaves for the big money as well, mate. And as I said before, as the lads have said, psychologically, the absolute dog's abuse he gets 24/7 by all accounts. Let's not forget he's got a young family as well that he's got to look after. And obviously the lifestyle over there in Saudi Arabia, by all accounts, looks fantastic in terms of the infrastructure that they've built and all the footballing terms as well. Like, it's ridiculous. I think Hendo wants to win Europe. Potentially there, Redbird. I think as the article does state as well, everyone. The link is in the description so you can check it out later. He's deliberating, but it's an important next couple of days. That's what they emphasised. It's important next couple of days. Could be after today. He sees what the reaction is from Liverpool fans, or you never know. Certain players do make their minds up a couple of weeks before it even. But we'll find out in the next couple of days.
Jack?
Yeah.
You don't make yourself look like an absolute beast and box like that to go and play in the Saudi League.
You never know.
That's what I said. You do that kind of training because you want to fight for your place in Liverpool. That's the only thing I can say for you. He's like, dude's got an APAC now and he's 32 years of age. That's not old. Milner had another 5 or 6 years in him at Liverpool. For me, if I was Henderson, I'd stay there and just be the captain. And whether he gets the same amount of game time that he normally does, it doesn't matter. Just be the captain, and then just leave with your head held high.
Yeah, I've got important. Doug, I'll ask you in a little second, mate, but just get you thinking. Do you think the captaincy could be up for grabs in the next couple of seasons? in relation to obviously the new contract. Because everyone's talking about Henderson, and me and Kev spoke with Niall and Nigel as well, and potentially the passing of the baton, like Sammy Ippie done to Steven Gerrard all those years ago. Anyway, it was, could it be potentially that, not that he's disappointed, but it's a massive pass, and especially if you're not in the team 24/7, Doug, he'll be disappointed at himself as well. Like as Kev said, he's in peak physical condition, but let's not forget, it's not his ribs that do the talking on the pitch or his six pack. It's his feet and his legs, and they have massively let him down in the last 12 months. He's been playing with massive injections, as we know, and obviously with his injuries in the past. Do you think that could potentially come into contention, really? Because there was a lot of talk, Doug, that in the next couple of seasons, with when I think Trent's got 2-3 years left on his contract, but there's a lot of talk next couple of years that he potentially might be getting that new contract, but also included with the captaincy of Liverpool Football Club as well.
Yeah, I think the captaincy is a big issue for me, especially with obviously Henderson not playing week in, week out. I know that obviously Van Dijk as well, I think vice captain, or will be now, I think. Obviously with Milner leaving. So I mean, you know, I'm never one for a goalkeeper to be captain. That Alisson would be a good enough captain for me. I'm even going to put in Andy Robertson because he is Scotland captain. I think he's a pretty good Scotland captain as well. And who wouldn't want a Glaswegian barking orders at you? And then obviously you've got Shred, you know, as well. So I mean, I've seen people potentially say like give it to Salah. You know, obviously he's Egyptian captain as well. You know, we have actually got leaders in this team when you think about it, and you know, some of them are international captains as well. So I don't think it would be too bad to pass the baton on. But I think if you're talking for captains in the future, I think Trent is definitely the one that's going to get it.
Yeah, potentially, mates. Quickly rattle through all these as well. Big up Redbeard, agree. Hendo has been successful for us, and the Hendo shovel is iconic. Definitely what Kev said there. Yeah, special moments, and I think there's a couple of captains around Europe as well after he done that. They'd kind of copy it anyway. Hendo will never leave. Hopefully, Jen, as I said, but I think he's come to the realization, even if he does want to play, plus, yeah, we'll move Kev up there to keep him happy. There we go.
I was reading it upside down. Okay. Right, let me read it. Go back. Let me read it upside down. That's funny.
Looks like he will go give up a fight. Now Milner's left. Hendo is our most experienced as well. Hendo ain't leaving. This is talk media clickbait. We'll find out, Redbeard, but if he does decide to leave, then I'll tell you what, it's going to be a very, very, very emotional period for Liverpool Football Club. Looks like year younger. There we go. Susan, saying hello. I think Hendo has another year left in the tank as a squad rotation player. Then he can move to Saudi next summer, potentially as well. Psychedelic. Time will tell, mate. If I was lucky enough to be 32 again and time travel, I'd go for Saudi for that amount of money as well. 100% there, Paul. And Kev, the biggest one is if Liverpool do get a potential transfer fee. I don't anticipate it will be Ruben Neves money, but we could be looking at potentially about 10-15 million, or even not even better. But if Liverpool were given a sizable transfer fee, that would allow and facilitate Liverpool to very much get that extra player in midfield, or one or the other, really, mate, potentially. Yeah,
well, look, with Gerrard there, it gives it more emphasis as well, because I think if Gerrard was going to do that, let's say hypothetically this is all going to happen, and let's say that Gerrard says it, he's turning around and say, you're not buying an aging player here or whatever, you're buying Liverpool's captain, and you're taking him out of his captaincy at Liverpool and bringing him to that, and that alone is worth 15 million on top of whatever he's worth alone. So, you know, this is what I'm saying. If the money goes, I can see him going for near enough to Ruben Neves' money, because I just think he's been more important in the league than Ruben Neves ever has been. You know, Ruben Neves played at Wolves And whether he can shoot a 40-yarder or not, I've never really seen Ruben Neves control an entire football match. He's always been the guy that's just been the better player in the midfield of Wolves. That's it. I've never seen it in most of the other teams that are playing against are on the back foot anyway. So, look, I think there's different levels when you come to these guys. And if Ruben Neves is 45 million at, what is he, 29, 30? Then Jordan Henderson is definitely 35, 40 million at 32. Going there. And that's the way I would look at it. But I don't want him to leave. As I said, I'd rather see Thiago go first because I just think there's more value there in Thiago with the last year of his contract, with the fact that we're heavy on that side. Arguably, Thiago is our best midfielder when he's fit, but he's never fit. And as I said, I don't want to go in the same situation as Daniel Sturridge, just keeping him, and Naby Keita keeping him and keeping him just in case he's ever going to come good. Yeah, so... Yeah.
Do you think, Kev, and big up there, Mick, as well, from the Copper podcast as well. Make sure you do head over. Mick, drop it, or please, mods, can you drop a Mick's channel link in the description? I'll do it in a little second when the lads are speaking anyway. But I hope you're well, mate. Get it on soon, and you've been absolutely smashing it. So please do head over, subscribe to Mick, and obviously Christian's great podcast. Got plenty of great podcasts out there. But Doug, interesting point that obviously Kev has alluded to there, mate. In relation, I was just about to ask, and shall let us know, could the developments, over the last 6 months, in relation to Curtis Jones, do you reckon that's potentially added on to any potential rationale? Because for me, we were speaking to the lads this week, I think Jones has jumped ahead of the queue of Jordan Henderson in terms of his squad selection, really, in relation to playing for the football club, mate. And that, John, do you think the development of certain players within this team, even Bajcetic as well, last season, he's got a massive role. But I think when you look at that, mate, and when you coincide the age of Henderson as well, it's going to get increasingly more difficult for Hendo to really get up the pecking order, really, mate.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you look at Henderson this season, I think he's probably going to be sort of the James Milner role, where I think he's just going to be a leader and sort of, sort of helping the younger players get up to there. But yeah, Curtis Jones, prime example. I think Curtis Jones has had a fantastic last 6 months, especially towards the end of the season. He was grabbing goals, he was grabbing assists as well. And then look what's happened with the under 21s. He's been fabulous for them as well. And it doesn't matter what part of the body they go in, as long as they go in. Obviously backside. I know Man City fans are saying Cole Palmer got that winner for England the other night, but Curtis Jones. I think Curtis Jones has gone ahead of Hendo in the pecking order, and I think Curtis Jones will get a lot more playtime next season as well. Harvey Elliott is an interesting one. I agree with Kev. I think Harvey Elliott, for me, I think was always sort of brought to be Salah's sort of cover. And I think you look at what has happened, he's had to play in a role that really doesn't suit him. I don't think a right-sided midfielder suits Harvey Elliott, to say the very, very least. I mean,
he hasn't got the legs. He's what, 5'8", 5'10". He's got the technical ability, don't get me wrong, so you can play in those triangles really well. But in terms of, as we've all seen, Doug, last season, all of us, it was that transition really going from forward to backwards.
Yeah.
And he just physically at the moment, as we know with the developments of just when we were all younger, certain people, and I think as Curtis Jones, big up the Anfield rap lads as well. I mentioned it yesterday. Go and check it out. I'll post a link anyway. But Gerrard was speaking about how Curtis Jones just developed within a matter of a couple of weeks, and he shot up to about 6 foot odds. And Curtis Jones was very small as well at his young age, but obviously with his growth spurt, and potentially, you never know. And we've had that a couple of times, especially over the last 12 months. There's been a couple of players in the academy. I think Kate Gordon had some growing pains, and everyone goes, oh, it's not that important. But let's not forget, physical condition of these young players, it could have, you don't want to be rushing them in, and it is a thing in terms of sports psychology and sports science as well. It plays a massive part. But yeah, Doug, in terms of it's going to be an interesting period, mate. Because there's a lot of facets really in terms of Liverpool as a squad, in terms of selection as well. Who, if Henderson was to leave, mate, do you anticipate really seeing the biggest improvements in relation to like stepping up? Is it going to be like a Curtis Jones? Is it going to be a Trent stepping into that midfield, potentially going to next summer? This new Premier League campaign, mate. Any players that you anticipate stepping up?
I'd have to say Curtis Jones. I think if he makes the runs that he has been recently, he's going to get a lot more goals because you've got the brilliance of McAllister and you've got the creativity of Szoboszlai to find them as well. And some of the runs he was making to get goals as well. We kind of want to see that more in Curtis Jones because I think we've kind of seen him like do it for the under-21s for England. And now we're kind of wanting to see him do more in the Liverpool. So I'm going to say Curtis Jones. I think Curtis Jones is going to have a big season.
Yeah, chat. Let us know, Kev. Tickles your fancy.
When you were talking about Harvey a little bit earlier and our right hand side, the only reason I was saying that he was more of an understudy to Salah is because he's extremely good under 15 yards. But you give him any more than that, and he's huffing and puffing, not because of his fitness, but just because he works with his age and how his body works, and he works in bursts. So he works in bursts over 15 yards, and then that's where he gets his speed for. His speed is in his touch and his movement rather than his actual pace. So that's the way it would be for me. Look, there's a transition period going to come up. Curtis Jones, I think, will benefit the most. Bajcetic will probably benefit as well. It all depends on who can come over to that right hand side and play that role outside of Szoboszlai. Because remember as well, if we want to rest Salah, Szoboszlai can go up into the right wing position, no problem. I mean, he's perfectly adept at playing there. And then somebody else has to come in and do his role there. Can McAllister move across? But you're looking at a lot of people that are playing on that left-hand side, hence why I said I would move on Thiago before Henderson, only because of the cover. Thiago doesn't really suit that right-hand side. He's a pivot that likes to have himself facing, he likes facing towards the right from the left-hand side of the pitch, and that's where he does most of his creativity. But yeah, if Curtis Jones will probably benefit the most just because of the last 6 months he's had, because of the World Cup he's had, because of the injury coming back from Bajcetic, he's going to be eased back in. But I look, for me, it's still unless you bring in a Henderson to replace a Henderson as a workhorse in the team, it's going to be really, really hard. But look, eventually, as both of those lads got to go, and if you said to me that you would it be time to pull the trigger on both of them, then just get it over with. I don't want Henderson to leave. I want Henderson to stay more so than Thiago. But if he's going to go, and they're all just move them both on and use that to fund and bring in somebody else, bring in your Lavias, challenge somebody like City for a Guardiola who's a huge or Liverpool fan. We're not going to beat City to a signing like that, but you never know if he's a fan.
Kevin De Bruyne is a Liverpool fan, Kev. So
he is, but he's spent too much time now at City for that to happen. Your man's not over there yet. He's not at City yet, so there's chances for that. But for me, yeah, bring in somebody who really wants to play for the club, who'll work like a workhorse, who's a fan of the club. This is why Szoboszlai came to us, chose us over Newcastle. He's a fan of the club. He's a fan of Jurgen Klopp. It is time for a transition. It's either pull the trigger on them both now, but don't let your captain go and then keep somebody else who's injured in the team. And because I'm glad, believe me, I love Thiago. He's a fantastic player when he's on the ball. He's not available enough for me. And I would rather not see Bajcetic and Curtis Jones hindered on how good they were playing at the end of last season. And we can all talk big about Curtis Jones, and he might go back to the Curtis Jones of 2 seasons ago. But at the same time, you've got a fantastic person who hasn't dipped in form, who has a really bad game besides Man City, which is Bajcetic, and you're hindering him. You're hindering somebody else that can come into that side and do it. So it's grand keeping the experience in the team, but if they're not going to play and you can make money off them now, move them on. If not, at least keep your captain and move on somebody else that you can make the money off of. So, yeah. But Curtis Jones will probably benefit the most off Henderson leaving in some league games and a lot of Europa League football maybe, because I think he plays better in the in like Champions League games, European games, hence why he looks so good as well in the European Championships than the league games. So there's been some league games he's been brilliant, but a lot of the time he's been kind of, just average down through the years. So yeah, I would want to see more benefit for him. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Get to everyone's comments as well. I don't want to pick up there, Paul, a legend. Hell yeah. I mentioned it several times, but 99% of the LFC players, both those who there are and those who left, have had a bad season last season. Pretty sure it was a reaction after 63 game season as well. 100% mate to the degree. But as the majority of most football fans around the globe, we're all very fickle. We want everything now. We want everything, but let's just take a step back and realise, because I'm excited for this season. As we spoke about last season with the lads, it's really looking good, especially if we can get one or two extra players in the window as well and make us even more stronger. I was
just saying today, with Brian Morrison, when he was on about the kid, we know you've read, we know he's a big fan of the show, and he's a big fan of the team. But it's just that their kids are influenced a lot by FIFA these days and the video games, so they sometimes common sense kind of overlaps with a bit of fantasy. So we forgive him for that one.
We've all been young lads as well, anyway. We've all been young. He's not a flashy player, and the overall skill one. That's why those kids online, in relation to everyone as well around the globe, not just for Liverpool, but for modern day, you only have to go and look at how massively follow Cristiano Ronaldo is in relation. Wherever Ronaldo goes, the majority of his fan base does go as well. And that's just how football has always gone over the last 130 years. But we've seen it's jumped massively in relation to the stark rise of social media over the last 20 or 30 odd years. Anyway, it's been ridiculous. Facts, Brian, as well. I think this season is redemption for every player who wants to prove the fans wrong from last season. I'm sure that's some extra rest will have given the lads some extra spirit as well. Determination to get bloody helpful. Fit Chifa. Whenever Hendo decides, you've got to respect. 100% there, Susan. 100%. Pretty impressed by the training session yesterday. Salah winning the lactate test and all. Suppose I look straight away, ready for going into war. I'm impressed. Impressed me a lot in that training session. Yeah, you haven't checked it out, chat. Kev, you can.
I'll get the other link in there.
Nice one. So if you haven't seen it, I'm pretty sure you've all seen it. But yeah, as Helly was saying there, 48 hours has to be decided, because Gerrard's team are offering 50% pay rise to him. Personally, I have massive respect for Hendo, what he has done for this club, and it's an absolute success. Big up there, Andrew. As I said, he's got to think about himself, his family, and everything, really, because I don't think he would have got anywhere near the pay rise in relation to going to any other football club. We know the vast wealth that is flowing amongst that league as well, mate. So, at the end of the day, you just got to respect Hendo's decision if he does decide to leave. Casey Jones could be a future captain in the next 5 years. He was the 17. He has the 17 shirt like Stevie used to. Until then, I would say Salah's the next captain after Henderson. Psychedelic, 100%, mate. That's a great option as well, Doug. As Psychedelic said there, and Kev alluded to it before. We've got that many captains within the squad that it's. We went through a period, I know, when we were all watching Liverpool as fans anyway, you look to Carragher was more of the captain that shouted and screamed and organised. But Gerrard, as we know, led by example and led by his qualities on the football pitch as well as his leadership. Certain people within a team lead by different ways. As I said, Carragher, screamer, shouter. Terry, in terms of his screaming, organising as well. There's a variety of different captains around the world anyway in modern football. But it's a great predicament really for Liverpool. Especially, I think, do you reckon Jurgen Klopp, and not just Jurgen, but the whole squad and even those fans, because I think there would have been some hard truths said last season. There was so many emergency meetings supposedly had with Liverpool, Doug. Do you potentially see that happening? Like the air, their laundry anyway. A lot of hard truths said.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're spoiled for choice now for sort of captains. As I've obviously said, we've obviously gone through obviously him, obviously Henderson, Robertson, even Simicas. I think he's a Greek captain as well. I do think that there will be spoiled for choices for captains, but I think the top. I think the top three probably for me would be Salah, Alisson, and probably Trent. I think they're probably the three to potentially go and get it for me.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Big up there, lads. Just my personal opinion. I would sell. I think it's the right time, probably, to evolve this midfield. 100% there, lads. And I think that's more or less, you've said what we're all thinking, but I think all of us that respect and love Henderson, we say it in a respectful manner anyway, mate. But big up there, matey. Hope you're well. It's respectable if Hendo says no to the bigger wages. It shows he is still hungry to prove a point and to show why he's the captain. But that's the 100% agree with you there, mate. But I think it's respect in another way as well. If he did decide to leave, as we mentioned with Bobby, you only have to listen to what Bobby said at the back end of this season, that he was wanting to give another opportunities to the other young lads. He's just seen Gakpo come into the squad and that. But as I said, was it how long's Hendo been here, lads? It's like 12 years.
2012, wasn't it? 2012.
Yeah, so
2011, 2012, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, so like 10, 12, 13 years or whatnot. But,
he was brought in by Kenny, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would have been the 11-12 season because we won the League Cup that season. So,
yeah, he was a right midfielder his time at Sunderland. Very raw as well. Yeah. And it's magical, the journey he's gone on, mate. And we've seen similar players at the football club go with in terms of the ups, the downs, the ups as well. But
nobody's been slated more than him. Even Lucas Leiva was in the same ilk as him. They both got slated back in the day. And then they turned out to be absolute legends. Not just cult heroes, but legends. Because, I mean, Lucas Leiva was brilliant for us at the latter stages of his career. And he was very important for breaking up attacks. So, you know, Henderson, he adapted his play. He learned. There was no better guy that Gerrard could have, asked to have as captain to replace him. Yeah. So yeah, he's been a stalwart to this club, and a highly praisable one. He's not a flair player. He gets the job done. I out of most have been probably one of the biggest people that have complained about these, what do they call it, scoopy plough balls last season. Yeah. The Hendo ones that just lifts into nowhere, and that was a sign. That was sure the sign of fatigue for me. And you look at him, and you look at Fabinho, you look at Robertson, you look at Van Dijk. And you see right there in that core, which is like a really big part of our spine, that's pretty much fatigue settled in right there, and the lack of creativity going forward. And we can't blame guys that have given the shirt off their back to broken their legs really pretty much and broken their bodies to win trophies for us. A load of stick when the minute that they can't do it for a period of like 6 to 7 months. So look, I would, as I said, I would like to keep Henderson over everybody else that could possibly leave. And if it was going to be a replacement captain, yeah, Trent could get there eventually. I think he's too young and still a bit of a lad to be able to do it in that way. I probably Verge is probably ready to take the captaincy. Robertson could be a great captain, but he's a bit of a joker all the time.
Salah.
So Ali, so yeah, for me it'd be Salah. He said himself that he doesn't really want to captaincy kind of thing. He prefers just doing what he does and being a senior player in that. But I think that, and he said he thrives off of that. He doesn't want the kind of responsibility. So I think it's perfect for Virgil or Ali to take over directly after it, and then probably Robertson or Trent after that. Once. But I think if Trent can step up and be what the type of player that Gerrard was, and in the same mindset, and get a bit more serious in the squad outside, just being a teammate, then maybe he could step up. But look, you need people that can be really serious at the time, and Verge has no problem giving out. Ali has no problem giving out. Yeah. So one of them.
Yeah, could elevate Trent's game to even greater heights.
Yeah.
If he was to get that captaincy. We'll just round off here, chat. Keep on getting your comments in anyway, but we're going to round off in the next 2-3 minutes, everyone. So get your comments in quickly. Much appreciated, everyone. If you haven't dropped a like on the video as well, everyone, make sure you do. Massively helps out the growth, and everyone's been smashing it recently as well. So appreciate all support. We need to have a good replacement lined up if he does leave. I don't see it with with Jones. He's good, but I'm sure he's Liverpool's level going forward. But I can go and check out the Anfield rap video that they released yesterday or the day before on their YouTube socials. A great interview with Steven Gerrard, great audio podcast as well available. And I'd much rather listen to a legend like Steven Gerrard, someone that has more or less won so much in his career, and he knows exactly what it is, than people on even me or Eddie of Israeli. Gerrard knows his stuff. He's one of the best midfielders, if not one of the best midfielders in the whole of Europe at that in certain periods in his career as well. But yeah, next season, Curtis Jones, I was asking a lot there, mate. But if that was the case, mate, then we'd be really good by all accounts. Is going to be totally different level as well. The main question for me is, if Liverpool go back to the 4-3-3 system, I think he will. And the system, I question if Curtis Jones will have the same impact as he did at the end of the season. As I said, mate, I think we've learned a lot over the last 6 months from all of them. Big up there, mate. Big up there, North. No hating on Endo, no way. But if he goes to Virgil van Dijk taking over, he will have to up his game next season. No better incentive than taking the captaincy. Robbo vice captain for me as well. If you ask me, I would give the armband to Robinson as well. Big up there, Darzo. I think you're new around here, mate. So thank you for popping in. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button down below as well, everyone, if you are new. We are live most days anyway. Steven Gerrard, the new team. Alpha isn't, lower than what you get right, and I can't see it. You never know, hell yeah. Time will tell. But big up there, Bill. Massive supporter of the channel. Massive West Ham fan. As a non-Liverpool fan, Henderson seems to get a lot of unfair stick from some Liverpool supporters. If he does leave, he should get the utmost respect as well. 100% there, mate. Big up there, Bill. Only difference with Hendo staying is our captain sitting on the bench too many games. It's a bad situation, which would be an awkward for Jurgen Klopp as well. Afternoon, lads. Big up there, Wigs. We are concluding in a little second, mate. So, yes, the fellas, big up there. Tom, hope you're enjoying the sunshine in Greece. I'm, as I said, don't know too much about their league anyway. But yeah, Milinkovic Savic has gone. Deals take time, 100% there, Brian. Just because we sign new players doesn't mean we have to get rid of everyone. We'll have a strong bench for rotation as well. 100% there, Paul. Get him on the club, doing everything. Yeah, obviously, if you're unaware, if you're new around here, Tom is a massive Everton fan, but he sounds one of the sound ones. Get him out the club. He's done everything at the club. V8. Of course, Tom, you want him away because he's won lots of trophies at Liverpool. Well, in all fairness, Jack, Stevie always going to say nice things about Jones. There's strong bias there. But Gerrard's won the Champions League. He's played 100 odd times for England as well. I think he's better suited than the majority, 99.9% of the Liverpool fan base anyway, mate. But respectfully,
I think he's seen the potential in Jones when he was there himself, and that's what he's based on, maybe.
Yeah.
So, it's up to Jones himself to do it.
Yeah, best player at the moment. Yeah. Time will tell, mate. Yeah, it's just a great lifestyle out there anyway, mate. But lads, Kev, Doug, chat, you're absolute bloody legends. Doug, have you got any videos on the horizon, please, mate? Just shout out where everyone can find you as well, please, mate.
Yeah, I was. Oh, hello. I'm moved on. I'll probably be live later on. I'm going to speak a little bit about obviously Jordan Henderson. I'll speak a little bit about obviously Nat Phillips as well. So yeah, I will keep you updated. But obviously, turn that notifications bell on because as we all know, YouTube doesn't like the notifications. No, thank you very much for having me. My first pod as a 31-year-old. So a big thank you to all the birthday messages, everyone as well. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. Kev, massive thank you for jumping on, mate, as well. Just shout out your socials and where everyone can find you, please, mate.
Yeah, on YouTube, for gaming, you'll find me at Spider. For football and Liverpool-related content, it's Spider LFC. And it's exactly the same on Facebook for both of those. And if you want to find me for mostly, it's always gaming. On Twitch, it's Irish Spider Guy on Twitch. And yeah, you'll find me doing majority of watch-alongs and just popping around people's shows and giving as an unbiased opinion as I possibly can.
Yeah, the biggest top Reds we all are.
Yeah, we're big top Reds,
But yeah, but okay.
And a wool if you're me.
Yeah. But yeah, big up there, chat. If you're watching on the repeat, please do head over, subscribe to all the lads' socials as well. Massive thank you to Bri, massive thank you to Steve as well. Steve's just jumped in. Big up, matey. You can rewind this, mate. There we go. Stevie G might have the money for LFC players, but he could probably get Pogba. Yeah, well, I don't rate Pogba anyway. Got massively carried by Kante in that World Cup final. Well, the whole World Cup anyway. But yeah, Steve, Brian, Helia, Doug, Kev, Paul, Wiggs, Bill, North Red as well, Ads, everyone, Tom, you're absolute bloody legends. But if you are watching on the repeat, really do appreciate everyone for the fantastic support. As always, you're absolute bloody legends. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button down below. Let us know all your thoughts in the comment section below. We're more bothered about that as well. Big up there, Lance. Lads, wasn't front and centre of the Rainbow Laces campaign. I think so, yeah, as well, Lance. And
that means no better person to go over there and maybe turn the mindset around over there as an, you know, that we see.
So, yeah, as Doug alluded to, he's massively campaigning for, as we know, as we spoke about with Hendo with the NHS, all the work he's done in the pandemic as well. He's a massive leader of not just Liverpool, but he's a massive leader of football in England as well. But chat, look after yourselves. If anything news relation breaks later, might do an extra show later if we're all free and available. But Reds, look after yourself. Massive thank you, boys and gents and everyone. Have a lovely day. See you later.